Welcome back to the Morning After series. Over this 4-part series, Candace Bushnell, creator of Sex and the City, and I are going to be chatting about everything from career and adulting to relationships, friendships, and of course, love, or the struggle to find it here in New York City. Plus, we have some incredible guests joining us starting this week. This series is sponsored by Magnum Ice Cream. Magnum Ice Cream believes in more chocolate, more sauces, and more of what makes you, you. Magnum's new milk chocolate ice cream bars are a perfect way to indulge in the simplicity of expertly crafted ice cream and chocolate. Trust us, you'll love them. Hope you enjoy the episode and more to come. We're back.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, Nikki.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
So we were brainstorming magical guests. We reached out to you.
Yes.
This series, this special series, is all about love or the lack thereof in Manhattan, your adventures as a woman here.
Yes.
I think that we were part of the last heyday of a certain scene
Yes.
that was really different than it is now.
Yes.
So,
I mean, just thinking on my way here, just thinking of that whole era and the Sex and the City era. What a time to be alive.
yep.
It's like,
Yes.
seriously.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, now that we look back on it,
Yes.
it just seems like such a magical time.
It was magical with flip phones,
It was so
no distractions.
fun. My sister and I always say that. The kids today, they have no idea what fun was.
Yeah.
See, I can't believe that you guys are saying that.
Yes.
Well, it was even better for you,
So
Candace.
then I know
Yeah.
that is definitely true.
It is true.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I'm older. It's not as fun. It's not as fun.
You know why everyone's
Well,
doing this or recording and like you're not in the moment?
No.
And we were a little less in the moment than you guys
You were
when you
certainly
were out
not in the
having your
moment.
fun. No, they were in the
But-
moment.
No, I'm
Yes.
saying they no one was, they didn't even have cell phones.
I know.
Not
Yeah, we
to age
in
you.
the 80s.
Did you ever
They were-
Studio 54 it up?
I did, yes.
So like that's
that
a magical
was-
time.
And that was really fun. First of all, it's really the only place where I've ever been, because New York is the city of FOMO,
Yes.
where if you were there, you knew that was the best place to be in the world. Like there was no question about it.
Yep.
That was like the only place to be.
Mhm.
And also, it was like celebrities went out. Like
Mhm.
everybody went out and had fun.
Mhm.
And there was the velvet rope getting in, but it was like once you were in,
Could do whatever you wanted.
yes, exactly.
No one was
and there
taking
just
your
seemed
photo.
to be like a lot more mixing. Now it's like the celebrities are always like roped off.
Yes.
They're doing a red carpet, or, they're going to come here, or they send a car for you and you're like under control of the publicist or whoever's like paying you to be there.
Yeah.
And
We didn't get the Studio 54. I think Marquee was maybe the closest thing, but
Bungalow 8.
Bungalow 8, that's right.
Bungalow 8 was really fun.
Yep. Nikki, did you have any moments there as a young lady?
I did an epic Halloween party there once,
Nice.
and we had like 100 Happy Meals arrive at midnight. I remember that. Amy was like bringing them out on trays. I had a shot named after me, the watermelon shot, mojito shot.
That's fantastic.
Yes,
Did you guys ever go to Conscious Point?
of course.
Because
What's Conscious
I
Point?
know,
Dance.
Oh,
because I remember one time I was there. It was the first time I met you guys. You came in. I think you guys were really, really
Yeah,
young.
definitely not 21.
No, you probably were like around 17, 18.
was it a club or a
I
restaurant?
feel like I
It
know
was-
this picture. 'Cause
It
I've
was a
seen it.
club,
Club.
and you guys got up and you were dancing, and then someone was like, "Get up and dance with them," and I was like, I'm like so old. And
On
I
the
was- I was
table?
probably
On the bunket, not the
on
table.
the bank.
I find it hard to dance on a banquette because your heels are poking in and it's unstable.
You know what? It was
You just do it. You take your
It's
shoes
the
off and go to
summer.
town.
It was whatever. It was when people went to clubs and danced on the banquettes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, Nikki, I'm curious. You have grown up here. You've played on the playground of New York. Like when you were like, okay, entering the dating scene, do you have any great or awful stories?
To be honest, I wish I had some more salacious stories for you, but I was always that monogamous girl. I was always in like a multi-year relationship. So I never really played the field.
Yeah.
And then I've been married for 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't get to play in the Manhattan dating playground. And now I hear the stories with the apps. I mean, I was way wifed up before that started.
Yep.
But my
and
friends
what are some of
certainly
the stories
did.
that you hear? Because now I'm supposed to write a piece for New York Magazine.
On what?
But it's dating over 50, which is really the same. I try to tell people, as dating if you're 25, it all kind of.
Do they still play the games in their 50s like that?
What games?
Yes.
They do?
Of course.
Just like not respond.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Really? They don't grow out of that?
That's terrible to hear.
Yes. Although
Candace yesterday just dropped the bomb that there aren't men being raised the right way, so it's actually hopeless. There's going to be no pool there's no pool for women to pull from because no one has been raised properly to be a nice, well-mannered man.
Well, it's always a little bit of a joke, but
I know.
But the reality, though, is that, as I was saying, it's the essential Sex in the City question. Why are there so many great single women in this city and no great guys to marry them? And, there are a few, but it's like there's so many great women. And it's like, where are the guys? Like something's not right here.
But I always thought the guys were better in New York than LA.
That's
and I
probably
feel like
true.
that still rings true today.
I had more luck in LA.
You did?
I did. That's where I met my husband. And when I would have a guy actually like me, he was in LA. But New York, I just got, the come over for hot chocolate and marshmallows. And then it was like, no, we're just going to have sex. I was like, but I thought we were having hot chocolate. That's why I came over. That would happen to me here, but not in LA. Isn't that weird that you both have the opposite?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it really depends on, you're both married, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you both have met guys and, have good relationships.
Yeah.
So,
it's possible.
It's absolutely, it's absolutely possible. But, I don't know. It just seems like there's so many.
Where do you go out in New York to look for dudes?
I really don't.
Never?
No, because what's the point?
Where would you?
I don't know. I actually would not go out looking for men.
So you want to get like set up by a friend?
Not even that. Like I'm not really even looking.
No.
She's in a place in her life where she's so excited about what she's doing. The men just, secondary, which I love. It's such a power move.
After I got divorced, I really did not want to be with anybody.
Yeah.
And that was great. And I was totally happy. And then I thought, but maybe I should try to be with somebody. So, then you try and I'm on this dating app where.
Which one?
Raya.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are on it. Like everybody's on it.
Do you have friends that are on dating apps and are they finding love? Like,
you know what? I don't hear them talk about them as much. Like a few years ago, yes.
Yeah.
And everyone was super into Bumble. But I don't hear about the dating apps as much.
So how are your single friends meeting people?
That is a good question. They're struggling.
Yeah.
They're struggling.
I have a friend who turned 50 and she sent all of her friends. She said, what I want for my 50th birthday is for you to fill out this spreadsheet with 3 eligible bachelors. And there's 50 of you. So that's 150 names.
That's very clever.
And I'm going to go down this list. And she did a mood board. This is the type of guy she wants. And I was like, she's approaching it like a financial analyst. And I kind of liked that she was doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the outcome?
Well, not everyone did their job and filled out the form.
Because they probably didn't know anybody.
That's part of it. But she's gone on a couple dates and she keeps us updated like it's a scorecard.
I love that.
Yeah. So maybe that's the new Google Docs for the win. So what would you say
Maybe.
like of women looking for love? Like what have you learned from your marriage that you feel like women either should do right or have done wrong?
You know what? I always say it always happens when you're least expecting it. And I know that sounds cliche.
Yeah.
But
Or like the
that
baby
is
will
how
come
it
when
has
you're ready.
happened
Yeah.
With me every single time. I actually met my husband out of the country. We met in Rome at a wedding.
Okay.
The old-fashioned way. Isn't that where people used to meet at weddings?
Yeah. Did you go up to him or did he go up to you?
He came up to me.
Okay.
I would never go up to a guy. It's not my style.
Okay.
It was Rome. It was so hot. It was August in Rome, boiling. And they had the beautiful ceremony, and it was the cocktail time. And my sister and I are just standing there. And he walked up with his friend and introduced himself. I was like, ooh, perked up. He's cute. But I was living in LA at the time, and he was living in London. So it was long distance for about a year.
Wow. And then
That's
when
pretty far.
That's pretty far. When did you know enough to say, all right, one of us has to make the move?
A couple months in, for sure. We knew pretty fast, but I would go visit him in London, or we would meet halfway in New York and have these like nice romantic trips. And then he got a job opportunity in New York, so we both moved back to New York. But I'm a New Yorker, born and bred. I love New York.
Yeah,
and I love Sex and the City and what a love letter it is to New York.
That is true.
New York is the main character.
Mm-hmm.
It
Right?
is. It definitely is. And I don't know. I just always feel like so many interesting things can happen here.
It's
They
the
can.
melting pot of the world.
Mhm.
Everyone's coming in and out. It has the best food, fashion, everything. You walk
True.
outside your door, there's a million things going on.
That's true.
You can't say that in LA. You got to get in your car, drive 20 minutes. New York's just
I think New York and Paris,
exciting.
those are my favorite cities.
Mhm.
I love Paris, but I wouldn't want to live in Paris.
Why?
The language,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I just love New York too much.
Yeah.
I can't imagine living anywhere else. Like we've toyed with London, LA, but my heart always goes back to New York.
Who would you say your
That's-
favorite character was? Or who do you identify with the most?
I mean, I'm going to be pretty predictable and cliche.
It's probably Charlotte.
No,
No?
a little
I love that
Charlotte.
you
I am
said
dressed
Charlotte.
like Charlotte, though. This is sort
Yes.
of a Charlotte vibe. A little Carrie. I mean, Carrie was just
Iconic.
iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, watching that, I remember when the show came out in the summer in the late 90s. I was like 14 or 15 years old, and I was in the Hamptons, and my parents would go out for like a dinner party, and I would go in the living room, like make sure no one was watching and turn it on, because I just thought it was like that it had sex in it, that it was bad. So I had to hide that I watched it.
Wow.
And I just loved it. I mean, every Manolo, Fendi Baguette, Cosmo, Marlboro Light, all of it.
Yeah.
Yes, it was
Ate it
very.
up.
It was very 90s New York.
Hmm.
And you know, the funny thing is that just reminds me, your parents threw a book party for me. For my book,
Yes.
Four Blondes.
Yes, they did in the Hamptons.
Yes, in the
I
Hamptons.
was there. I remember.
And I think your father said something like, "Oh, she's so young to be so successful." And Patrick McMullen shouts out, "She's not that young."
Oh, that's terrible. That is
Rude.
terrible.
How was
Oh, it was
Patrick?
funny. It was funny. He's doing well.
God.
I haven't seen him or heard his name in forever.
He's still around taking photos.
Wow. Okay.
I was at a
Gotta give the guy
birthday
props.
party for a 95-year-old man. That's
That's where Patrick
who's
was.
around.
Okay.
And Patrick was taking photos.
Nice.
But, this 95-year-old man, he has a new girlfriend.
Mm.
She's probably in her 60s.
Okay. A little bit of a younger woman.
Yeah.
I think at that age, that's fine. 60 to 95, that's passable.
Wait until you're 60.
Ah.
I don't think you'll agree
Feel
with
that way? Okay.
You
Fine.
may not.
Very, very
You
fair.
may be like, no.
Right.
I think I want someone who's 40.
Right. I could see that.
Would you want to date a 40-year-old?
Yes, actually, I would.
Yes.
Because all of the men I know in their 60s are dating women in their 40s. When I was 40, the thought of dating a man who was 65 was kind of horrifying. Like, why would you ever date someone who was 25 years older?
Yeah, that is horrible. I'm 44 and I would never date a 65-year-old man.
But now, so many 40-something women tell me that they are looking for a guy in their 60s because they feel like the guys who are their age do not have it together. I'm sure your husband does. But they feel like they don't have real jobs. They don't have it together, and they certainly aren't in a situation to have kids or anything like that. And so they want to be with somebody for stability.
Mm-hmm.
And, those guys can, once you're 65 and you're like, hey, I can get someone who's 40, you know what? You're only going out with 40-year-olds from then on. I promise you. So
Have you been on a date with a 40-year-old?
I have been on a couple.
Oh, I
And
like this.
it
Spill the tea.
it was super fun. But one of them, we all cut down on our drinking quite a bit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't go out and have 5 drinks.
Yeah.
But that's what this kid wanted to do.
Oh, wow.
He was like, let's meet for a drink. And then another one. And I was like, okay, I got a drink. And then after that, he said, I didn't hear from him for a couple of weeks. And then I heard from him and he said, oh, I had to quit drinking. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Dude, you had about 20 drinks. And you were like,
Oh, my gosh.
Eeks.
I'm done after 2. 2's like
I
5.
can barely even do 2. I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to go home.
Yep. The bed's calling.
So anyway, that was one. And then, there was another like really cute guy who was 35. And, it's like sometimes, and his parents were very successful. So like he didn't really have to work. It's like, well, why would he go out?
He didn't
with somebody?
work?
He didn't have to. And he actually,
Didn't.
I don't think he did. I think he had like a restaurant or something in
Oh,
Montauk.
thing.
Whatever. A lot of people don't really consider that totally working, but and that kid was
So you're looking
fun
for
too.
40s.
But then he got a girlfriend.
Oh.
So once they get a girlfriend, it's like you're out, and you want them to find a girlfriend.
Right.
You're like, dude, I'm never going to be your girlfriend.
Right. Right.
Like
Right.
I'm old enough to be your granny.
Oh, God. I want to source some audience questions. Colby or Taylor, are there any that we didn't ask that we should? Or any subjects?
Yes, on Sex in the City.
Yeah.
So what
You know
happened?
about this?
No, but so
Good.
when was it?
Good.
Good. When was
If
it?
it was in the first 2 years, I probably would have heard something.
No.
Like, because Darren would have said, like, the Hilton sisters are coming on the show.
I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was the episode where Samantha moves into the apartment in the meatpacking district.
Oh.
And
like that was in
she
the-
has these loud, rowdy neighbors. It was
Yes.
supposed to be Paris and I. And we missed our flight.
You were supposed to be the rowdy neighbors?
We were supposed to be the rowdy neighbors, and we didn't show up. And you didn't even like call to say we weren't showing up.
Oh,
We just like turned our little star tax off because we were so mortified, and we didn't show up. And it is
What were the-
such
what
a
were the-
regret because obviously being such a huge fan of the show, I'm like, fuck, why would I miss that opportunity?
what were
That
the
would have been so
messages
fun.
on the phone? Like,
I don't even know.
Oh
think
my
I
God.
don't even think we had a voicemail. We just turned it off.
Oh my gosh. It's not too late.
That's
It's not too late. Yes. Come back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you missed your flight from LA? Is that where you guys were?
Yeah, we were in LA
Oh my
and
God.
we didn't make the flight and we just like panicked and didn't know what to do and just turned the phone off.
That'd be really great to be able to do that now.
Yeah, right.
yes, exactly. But that's a great story. Now I feel like going back and looking
Finding
at that
the
and
episode?
finding the episode, and so they got somebody to be the rep.
Yes. Yeah, somebody had to fill
Well,
in.
whoever it is, you guys would have been better.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that would have been fun. I remember that was right when the meat packing blew up. I feel like that show kind of blew up the meat packing. Is
It
that
did.
possible?
Yeah.
Yes.
To blow up a whole
100%.
neighborhood?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Because anywhere that they shot, like any restaurants or whatever, all of a sudden everybody wanted to go to those restaurants. And I always like to say that the show was really kind of the first influencer,
Absolutely.
because whatever was on that show, people wanted to buy. And I feel like, it was the audience was, women in New York, but also like aspirational women.
I mean, I would say
And so they wanted what was on the show and they could afford it.
I don't think a show has been that influential with fashion since Dynasty.
Agreed.
Everything
Yes.
you wanted. Like
100%.
I barely even knew what Manolo Blahnik was. I knew my mom had them, but Carrie just glamorized them, and you just wanted more and more. And the saddlebags and the Fendi baguettes, and Pat Field just did such an epic job.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you
Absolutely.
still in touch with Pat?
I see her out and about occasionally.
Yeah.
I see
But
her.
She's iconic.
She's
You probably see her more than I do. But
Paris and I used to go to her boutique on 8th Street.
Yeah.
Long before when Amanda Lepore worked there.
Yep.
yes.
And we were shopping there.
I remember
we
going there.
would get our allowance and go straight to Patricia Field
Yep.
every Saturday. And that's where the allowance
That was
went.
a cool store.
It was.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
But I used to go there like in the late 70s when I
Oh,
first
she
came
had
to New
it
York.
that long?
Yes. And it was the cool store on the block. And like when you walked in there, you were like, I don't know if I'm cool enough to be in this store. Everybody was just, super cool. It was
So
like
cool.
But they were
era.
nice. I remember the people that worked
So
there,
nice.
even though it was cool, they were actually nice. Whereas some stores you walk into and they're really cool and people are like, should you be in here, miss? You know what I mean? Like the up and down.
such a New York thing.
It's such a New York.
I was
All right.
at my daughter's nursery school a few years ago, and one of the teachers was like, I used to work at Patricia Field and I would help you. I was
gosh.
like, no way.
That's a crazy full circle moment.
Yes. But I remember seeing Amanda there, and it was just the most unique, cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Nope.
Everything's everywhere. Everything's accessible everywhere. You can get it online and delivered to your house in an hour.
Yep.
Just the buy was so epic.
It was.
So I know you said you've been a serial monogamist, but were you ever ghosted? Were you ever ghosted? I was. But I finally reached out to him and I was like, I don't care that you're ghosting me, but just tell me why, just so I know the reason.
I need closure.
I need closure. Yeah.
No, not that I can
That's so
recall.
Well, I think part of it is, at one time before the dating apps, you would meet people out in, real life, and you would meet them in situations. I mean, you would meet them basically in your world, like you met your husband at a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
You're both invited to that wedding. And, on dating apps, you meet people who you have absolutely nothing in common with.
Right.
You have something in common with them, like on paper, but really no nothing simpatico.
Right.
I mean, I've definitely been ghosted, and I've definitely ghosted people. Like, I don't text people back sometimes for 2 weeks. And then I found out you're not supposed to do that, which I didn't know. I was like, whatever, I'm busy. I don't know.
Anything that I don't respond to in a day does not get answered. I don't even know how you know that 2 weeks ago you have to answer someone.
Well, maybe because I remember them and I think like, oh, I should maybe check in and see if that guy's around. I don't know.
So, yeah. What would you say then, being married for 10 years, you think is what keeps you guys successfully together? If you had to pass that
I
on.
think having a core friendship. We laugh together. We are very similar. We have a lot of the same interests. We like the same things. What keeps us together?
Or success,
we love
like
each other.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine my life without him. He's such an incredible father. And I feel like that makes me fall in love with him more and more.
Yeah.
Because not everyone is a great parent. But to have
Very true.
that incredible partner and be such a good dad is amazing.
That sounds fantastic. I think that's what all women want. You know, they want to have that great guy.
Yeah.
But
we need to make more of them. It's on us.
exactly.
Yeah.
I got 3. You have 1
Yep.
boy.
Yep.
So we're going to start them off right. Candace.
Yes. Yes. Tell them that, you know, they're supposed to have relationships and it really can be a great thing.
I love it. All right. On that note, I think we'll do rapid fire questions. Just
Okay.
a couple. Team Big or Aiden?
Aiden.
Ooh.
See, I always say big.
He was an asshole.
Yes. But my mother hated Aiden. I don't know why.
He was a little basic, but he was nice.
Yes,
Sweet.
that's true.
We talked a lot yesterday about how the thing about big and or men like him is like it keeps you always wanting more because they're always
Yes.
retreating, and that's
Keeps you on your toes. It's
Yes.
human nature. You want what you can't have.
right. All right, if you could steal one piece of clothing from Carrie's closet, what would it be?
Oh, so many. Probably that sequin Fendi baguette.
That was a good one.
I still scour the internet for Fendi baguette bags.
Pat, if you're listening, maybe
Always.
find it.
Always. First dibs. That's like my thing when I'm bored late at night.
Wow.
Fendi baguettes.
Finish the sentence. I couldn't help but wonder.
I don't know.
Oh, great. We
I
have you
don't-
speechless.
You're
Yes.
speechless.
All right. If you had to tell someone here where you think the best place to meet men in New York City would be, where do you think that would be? Where have you seen a pool of fish?
Hillstones at the bar. There's always a lot of men.
Okay.
It hasn't reopened yet, but I feel like the Waldorf bar could be
That
That's
could
classy.
be good.
definitely not the Regency bar,
Okay.
but I like a
That's-
hotel bar.
That's a
Like
good spot.
hotel bar.
Classy.
Yes. Well, you know, I've heard go to Wall Street,
Okay.
go to
Sit
a,
at Cipriani, hang
the
outside our
bars
mess.
down there. And then also I just joined this club on the Upper East Side. And the times that I've gone there, I've seen groups of men,
Okay.
which is something that
We're going to go men hunting.
you don't see all the time.
Yeah. I like that.
You know, if you see 6 of them, you figure maybe one of them's single.
One of them.
Maybe all of them.
Oh my gosh. Nicky, thank you for coming on. Candace,
you.
thanks for being my wing woman.
Ew. This is so fun.
This episode is sponsored by Magnum Ice Cream. Indulge in the new Magnum milk chocolate ice cream bars made with real premium milk chocolate. Each bar delivers the perfect creamy bite of Madagascan vanilla bean ice cream coated with Magnum's thick, iconic, crackling chocolate shell, ensuring a decadent treat for all chocolate lovers. Magnum Ice Cream believes in more chocolate, more sauces, and more of what makes you, you. Choose the simplicity of Magnum's milk chocolate ice cream bar to celebrate the big or small wins in life, because with Magnum Ice Cream, more is more.